Welcome to the Pink Lady Posse podcast, Women Who Refuse to Disappear. You are either creating your life or living one you inherited. Friction management. It matters because breakthrough is your way out of drift. See the drag? Return to say, let's go. I am Sandy Parker Martinez with the Pink Lady Posse podcast for women who refuse to disappear. And I am here with Mary Lummerding, who I respect. And I kind of have her on a pedestal because she's in an arena that I don't live in. So let me just say that she is Chef Mary, and she helps busy people navigate and live in and maybe even enjoy the kitchen. Is that right?
That's right.
So
Yes.
tell me from your perspective what you do and who you work with and how you help them and that sort of thing.
Thanks for having me on, first of all, Sandy. I really appreciate and enjoy talking to you. I love talking to you. It's so fabulous. And you have my favorite glasses on.
I
Um,
know.
I want everyone in the world to be able to cook for themselves. I know you don't cook, Lynn doesn't cook, but you have to make a meal sometime. And I want everybody to have that ability. And there's many reasons to be cooking for yourself, which we can get into later if you want. But a lot of people see it as a chore, and it can be very enjoyable to be in the kitchen cooking. And cooking is could be raw, could be cooked. Any number of people, whether it's just for yourself or for a group of people. I help people to get organized in the kitchen. So that's clearing off your counter so that you can work. It's not making too much of a mess, so it's not a huge chore to clear up afterwards. Turn on the music, find some cooking music, find some kids to cook with, uh, shop effectively for yourself, so when you open the fridge, there's something to make. Um, and just enjoy yourself. Just organize your recipes, know what's on the shelf, and be able to enjoy it.
Now, tell me a story about
Mhm,
someone you've helped who went from there to there. Like, give me a picture of what
mhm,
that looks like.
mhm. Well, there was Michelle and her husband, and they found that they were really tired by the end of the week and they were going out to eat a lot. And then they'd end up with going with friends and it would be really expensive. They both were able to cook, but they couldn't figure out how to move forward with that. So I looked at her schedule, and they did shopping on Sundays, and on Monday she was home. So what we figured out was that she could get out the slow cooker, make some bigger meals, put them in the freezer, and then by Thursday and Friday they'd have a heat and serve meal. It's still homemade, but it's no work. And so when they're tired and busy, they have a heat and serve meal, and that worked for them. I made them a recipe book that they could refer to, a personal recipe book that they really appreciated. And that's that's my Michelle story.
Well, what's interesting while you're talking, I'm getting a sense of who you are. And they say what you say, who you are speaks so loudly, it's louder than what you're saying. What I'm observing is you have a non-anxious presence about something I'm highly anxious about. And I'm trying not to do my teenage expressions like, but the truth of it is, you bring that balance of not anxiety and tools and resources in a way that plays out for what works for them.
Absolutely. It
And
has to.
what a beautiful thing. So, just a little about me. I manage Pink Lady Posse, which is it. I used to say for women who age with attitude and sparkles, and that has since changed because I'm in a rebellion where I want women to refuse to disappear after 60. Because if
Mm-hmm.
we live till 83, we're going to have, which is the average age, we're going to have 23 more years of sitting around and like, okay, that's got to go.
Yep.
And what I notice is that women, when they encounter something that slows them down, let's say drag, we'll call it drag, or things feel harder than it used to be, they start evaluating themselves, right? What's wrong with
Mm-hmm.
me that's cooking so hard? Right? What does that mean about me that I don't have a favorite? Like we just take a something that is and turning it into something about us. And then we live under this umbrella that's bigger than it has to be. So if we can name the friction, then
Mm-hmm.
we can return to say. And so what's say? When my mother said, because I said so, it wasn't perfect. She wasn't
Yeah.
evaluating herself. She was saying,
Mm-hmm.
that's my say, and I said it. So
Mm-hmm.
when women can get back to that place where they're centered in themselves in a decision-making space, it doesn't even have to be perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but it's
Mm-hmm.
mine.
Yeah.
And so many
Yes.
things take us out. So when I was looking at this idea of cooking,
Mm-hmm.
which, as you have said, and I confess, is not my range of expertise. What I do notice is there are some things about cooking that women say to themselves, right? And so if you look at the three types of friction, curbs, wobbles, and grinders, a curb might be, I'm too busy. It's too hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's complicated. It's not going to be
Yeah.
good anyway. You know, and when we say something like that, well, if we go, oh my gosh, look at that friction, I don't have to make it mean anything about me. But I see a lot of potential friction around cooking
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of, how should I say, inherited beliefs. Like I should be like my mother, or I should be like my grandmother, or I should automatically know how. Or, there's a lot of inherited beliefs around food and cooking. Do you see that?
There's actually generations now coming up behind us that their mothers didn't cook either.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they grow up going out to eat or ordering in or opening a can of soup or something. There's generations that don't cook at all.
Wow.
And so it's not even, I know, it's not even coming from the parents, it's coming from society. It's all that marketing, you know. It's the marketing, the instant gratification of, I'll just order in and, pay the delivery fee, and that's the way it is.
Hmm.
So the way I see it now is telling people that save that delivery fee, cook for yourself, save the money, and next time you go on holiday, you can pay for it on cash and not put it on your credit card,
Yeah.
you
Go on
know?
that cruise with that food money.
Yeah. And pay for it, you know?
Well,
Pay
what
for it ahead of
about
time.
over time? Do you find that women have put everyone else in front of themselves in terms of a priority? And now here they are. I mean, what do you see about that?
Well, that is how we were raised. And there is probably still girls that are like that. Um, but there's I don't know that I tend not to generalize too much between, because there's always exceptions. You know, we read about them on Facebook, but I'm not sure where I want to go with that.
It's okay. Do you remember the commercial? I can bring home the bacon, fry it up in a pan. It was like a woman, the message to us is we have to do everything well.
Yeah, my mom wasn't like that. She did what she had to. She had 5 kids, so yeah, she had to cook, but she wasn't happy about it. And that's part of why I wanted to make cooking enjoyable is watching my mom cook for 5 kids, and she'd rather be out doing other things. And I think her sister was the same way. Her sister was a single mom with 6 kids. And,
Gosh,
you know, she was really strict at home. And when her daughter went to her retirement party, she found out what fun her mom was. She said, "What?" She had no idea. Even as an adult, she didn't see that part of her. So yeah, there are constrictions on women. And for 20 years, I cooked for my husband. He was a carpenter and he always started his day late. So he'd show up at 6 o'clock and dinner would go on the table for him. But last November, I broke my wrist and he started cooking and he's enjoying it. So he's doing the cooking now, actually. He
what?
uses, yes, he uses the app Paprika and he has about 1,000 recipes saved up and he's working his way through his list. So
That sounds like my
that,
husband and his birds. He has a bird app, and every time he sees a new bird, it's on his life list.
yeah,
And he's like, so, gosh, well, uh, you know, I'm going to divert for a minute just because it's on my mind. But my first husband passed away.
hmm
And so I wasn't a very good caregiver at the time, but I was a caregiver at the time.
hmm
And so I looked at my husband the other day and I said, "Oh my gosh, you know, I'm not a good caregiver. What in the world would I do if I had to cook for us?" And I'm thinking, because when you'll think this is funny, maybe, but our first date where I was going to cook for him, my mother had a meal that was not mess upable. It was chicken, rice, cream of chicken soup. You put it in the thing and there you go. Well, when it came out, it was so dry and the rice was so hard. I'm pretty sure he said to himself, I'm never going to eat enough and it's not going to be good.
Quick question. Have you noticed how easy it is to drift through this season of life? Not unhappy, just slightly checked out. Yeah, that. At Think Pink, we don't fix women. We help them come alive again. Honest conversation. Easy occasions for discovery. No duct taping a smile over burnout. No reinvent your entire life by Tuesday. Just people who care and gentle nudges that help you feel like yourself again. I mean, the truth is, you can't be your best self by yourself. If that sentence made something in you nod, we made a free Think Pink starter gift just for you. Come take a look. No fixing, just connection. Go to pinkladyposse.com and click on Think Pink. Stay awake to your own life and not alone.
I'm pretty sure he said to himself, I'm never going to eat enough and it's not going to be good. So I think
hmm
I'm going to take over the cooking, so he's cooked every meal since we've been married, but he loves it.
yes,
I
yeah.
mean, he really finds the recipes enjoyable and he tries new ingredients and he'll say, "Oh, I
hmm
tried this spice." And I'm like, "Okay." So if I were in that position, I would challenge myself to use it as an occasion to return to my say. What does that mean? Instead of resenting it and regretting it, make
hmm
it my thing to do it and do it in an enjoyable way.
That's right. Yeah. It doesn't have to be the way Susie does it and the way Judy does it. You do it the way Sandy is going to do it.
Mhm.
And we figure that out.
Well, and
Mm,
the other thing that has, I feel like this is true confessions. The other thing that has missed me is food as nourishment
Hmm.
instead of food as performance. Like there's this sort of notion that I might not do it right, it might not be good, it wasn't good the last time. So I literally will need to clean up my act about where the friction already lives around cooking, that I'm just
Hmm.
letting it linger. And I could alter that by my own decision.
Hmm. Well, like anything, you make a decision. Am I going to love it or hate it or fix it?
You know
Mm.
what? I just heard you say A, and that
Hey,
might mean you're, and where are you, Canada?
I'm in Canada.
This
But
good
I
old.
talk to a lot of Americans.
So, Chef Mary from Canada is going to help us. Now, you have a book.
I do.
Tell me
Yes.
about the book and what is it about and what does it do for me?
This is my book, and this will help you to get organized in the kitchen. It doesn't have very many recipes. I think there's about six. There's me in the kitchen.
Look at you, how cute.
So it's a little book that will help you to get organized in the kitchen and just figure out how to enjoy yourself and how to enjoy nourishing your body so that you can keep going.
And
Um,
going.
going and going.
Well,
Yes.
I'm going to be 70 in April. And I'm
Mhm.
like, food has never been on the top of my priority scale.
Mhm.
Nourishment. I mean, it sounds weird to even say it out loud, but it's like we have meals 3 times a day and we're going to eat through, but I've never really put the priority on loving myself by the way I treat food and nourishing myself with
Mhm.
the way food can be.
Well, you can start with the enjoyment. What do you enjoy eating besides maybe chocolate or ice cream and
Margaritas, no. You
you
know,
know,
I love like squash.
well, that's good.
Oh my gosh, squash casseroles right up there in my favorite. You know, the time with the little crumbles on the top
Hmm.
and I just found a new cheese. Like I'm 70, almost 70. I've never heard of this cheese. It's called I think you pronounce it Borson.
Oh, isn't that a manufacturer?
No, I don't know. Probably.
I think it's like Kraft. It's
Well,
a name of a
I
company.
don't know what the cheese
I think
is,
it's
but
like a cream cheese or something.
it's spreadable and it's
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, I don't know how I live without it. So my husband goes, I'm going to the grocery store. Do you need anything? I'm like, yeah, I need some of that cheese. It's so delicious.
Yes.
So I love cheese, of course, it's delicious,
Hmm.
and chocolate, but I also love a good meat, like beef and chicken
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
fish. And I like meats.
So your body is telling you how to nourish yourself. Those are very balanced um, meal type of choices. Um,
What
there's
would
people that live on noodles and they're going to get sick. They're going to get diabetes and cancer and, put on weight and, but your body is nourishing you without even realizing it
mm,
because squash is a very good vegetable. Um, it's not starchy. It's very nourishing. Um, it keeps well in the pantry. So your husband should always have some. And you're talking about meats and fish, and that's good protein. Um,
now do you grow your vegetables?
I do.
Oh
Yes.
my Lord, here we go. There's a whole nother realm of the world that I've never been in. What but I did move to Blooming Grove and now everybody around me has a garden because we're out in the
So you
country.
don't have to garden because you can enjoy what they grow.
I know. So what do
Yeah.
you grow?
Oh, we grow a lot. We used to sell at a farm market. So my husband's a researcher. He likes to learn different things. And so we grow a wide variety of each vegetable. Like we had 7 kinds of radishes, and many people say I didn't know there were 7 kinds of radishes.
No.
I made bouquets with them. They were just beautiful. Yes. And I can only name about 4 of them right now. But yeah, I grow a lot of basil. I sell basil because it grows well in our yard. And tomatoes, onions. The onions are really good. If you look in a seed catalog, you'll see pages and pages of different kinds of tomatoes and onions. And even when you go to the farm markets, people tend to grow what people are looking for, what they're used to eating. And they're not looking for different kinds of vegetables. And so you still see the same thing over and over. But if you look in a seed catalog, there's a huge variety of different things. There's a pumpkin and it gets this sugar on the skin, which kind of explodes and ends up with, it looks like barnacles all over it. And
Really?
it's actually a heritage pumpkin that is from France. And it's Provençal or something like that. And and it gets huge. It's just a huge pumpkin. And we never see those, unless you grow it yourself. So there are advantages of having a garden. If you grow your own lettuce, you can just go out and pick what you need for that night and not have a big bunch of it in the fridge rotting.
Mhm.
So it is helpful to grow some things. And it can be very easy. It's as easy as buying a bag of dirt, lay it down, open it up, the top part up, loosen the soil, and drop some seeds in. You could grow some kale, some lettuce. That's that's how easy it can be.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Yeah.
so today is it Thursday or
Yeah.
Wednesday?
Wednesday.
What are you gonna have for dinner?
Oh, my husband, I think, what's he have? Oh, he told me we were having chicken. We have some boneless, skinless, frozen chicken breasts that he's thawed out, and he's going to do something with that.
And
It's not up to me anymore. He decides. It's so, it is so nice. Yes.
it
And
is now, how is your wrist?
my wrist is getting better. I can almost bend it down again. Um, it's coming along. It's getting stronger.
Well, for
I have.
someone who cooks, a wrist problem isn't the best idea.
Mm-hmm. But I did it in November, so it has time to recover before gardening,
Yeah.
and it got me out of cooking. So,
I
but
see
I'm
that
learning.
smile.
I am learning by watching him, and he's telling me his lessons, like read the whole recipe and pay attention before you decide to cook because some things need to marinate for a while. Um, you need to cook this before that. There's decisions that have to be made according to the recipe. Do you have the right ingredients, or can you substitute something you already have? Or sometimes he's popping out to the store because that's what he does. But um, yeah, you have to pay attention. And also, he's learning how to cook, so it's less of a mess at the end. At the beginning, it was like I actually did a video showing the kitchen while my husband was cooking. So,
But now, what
but
would you
we
say? What are the tricks to keep it clean while you're cooking? Like, give me a couple.
Yes. One thing that's in my book that a reviewer mentioned, she said, I cook, but I never thought of this, was I use a square yogurt tub, a larger one, but putting a bowl or something on the counter to put all of your compost scraps into or your garbage. And and then it's all in one place and you just pick up the bowl and take it away. instead of having, bits all over the counter.
Bits.
And yeah, and another thing that I told somebody was that's where they always threw their keys and mail and stuff. So I said, put a tray on the counter and put your keys and your mail and all the little bits on that tray. And then when you go to cook, you can just pick up the tray and take it away so that there's space to cook without. I hate cleaning the kitchen before I cook. You make a mess anyway. So it really, I hate cleaning before I have to cook. One of my rules when my son was growing up, and I try to keep my husband doing, is leave the kitchen cleaner or as clean as you found it. Like, you don't make your sandwich and leave everything there for the next person to come in and have to clean the kitchen before you even start cooking. You know, um, that's just respectful anyway, but yeah.
It
So,
is. All
you don't
right.
want to clean before you cook. You clean and
No.
then you cook and then you clean some more. That's when it sucks. And, you don't want to have to do that.
My husband that cooked before he passed away, he cooked and I did all the dishes. So I didn't really mind cleaning. It just
Hmm.
was the whole notion. And I still now looking at it think my own internal wobble about am I good at it? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be worth the
Yes.
time? That
Hmm.
was really heavy on the process. It never seemed enjoyable. So, I mean, you're not going to have a good result with that. I
Well,
see now.
it's the stories in our head too. I had a client who was told she's no good in the kitchen. She taught coding and law in college, but she was no good in the kitchen. And she wanted to make a dessert for her family for Christmas. She wanted to make a Yule log. And so we did some one-on-one cooking, baking together. And then she made the Yule log for her family, and they thought she bought it. And in the picture, they had candied rosemary in the, and so she said, someone told me I'm growing that in my backyard. So we went in her backyard and we found the rosemary, and she actually candied rosemary and cranberries for decoration, and hers looked better than mine because when mine was in the freezer, my husband put a bag of vegetables on top of the cake. So mine was all squished up, and hers looked just like the picture. It was really funny, but
Well, so
it's the
if you were gonna,
stories.
it is up here, and I actually am seeing that. I don't want to say I'm stuck there, but I'm not um, opening my mind to see options. Right?
Hmm.
I mean, what I've got, I used to say I want to be a can opener for a closed mind, but I've got the closed mind. So you're going to have to be the can opener, Mary. So
Well,
if you were going to say something to women hearing this, and
hmm
probably 50 or 60 years old and older, what's
hmm
your nugget or two of like, say it to them? What would you say that's yours to say?
I'd say start with the music. Find some music that you can play while you're cooking that makes you feel good. I start with Bruno Mars or Tina Turner and a few dancing around the kitchen if you want. Find some recipes that you really, really enjoy and find some recipes that are very easy. Like I have what I call a 10-minute lunch, which is a cucumber, a tomato, maybe sweet onion, a bit of dressing, and some feta cheese. And
Mm,
that's lunch, on a
that
summer
sounds
day.
delicious.
That's yes. So keep it simple. Um, keep it easy. tidy as you cook, as you prepare your food, and figure out things that you can make that will keep for a day or two so that you can make more. And the next day, like if you make the vegetable salad, you can just pull it out of the fridge the next day and put your dressing on it and it's ready to go. So,
Well, I'm challenged by you, Mary, and I want to
I'm
take on,
trying.
I know, I want to take on the challenge because one thing I've noticed is I've been saying, I don't cook.
Hmm.
When you say I don't cook, it doesn't leave you much room to navigate outside of that. And I'm saying that about myself.
Hmm.
I could cook. I could
Yes,
cook today.
you choose not to cook.
I know.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to tell you what I see, and that is it isn't about food, it's about your brain.
Hmm.
We're not failing, we're dealing with items that are not about us. I either do or don't have groceries. It's not about whether I'm a good or not good or a this or an able or
Hmm.
it's just friction. It's just
Hmm.
that. I see for myself that cooking has become a bit of self-abandonment in that I haven't been using it for nourishment.
Hmm.
And we have a friend, Deborah, and she talks about self-care. I would imagine beautiful food can be self-care.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hmm.
I've never thought of it that way in my life.
Yep. And
And so,
also, if your husband cooks a lot, it's a gift to him. If you say, I got it tonight, and he can go off and do whatever he might do, or he might hang in the kitchen and talk to you. But you just like, that's a gift. That's a gift you can give to him if you can find something that you can comfortably make for him that's going to work out.
well, I'm a competent human being. So the chances are I could make a meal. I just take myself out of that game, right? So I
Yes.
could put myself
Yes.
in the game of it
Hmm. Hmm.
and
Yes.
say, do one. It's not the end of the world. And so I see the real skill isn't cooking, it's choosing, it's choosing myself. It's
Hmm.
coming back to my say so because I say so. And the
There
minute
you go.
I, and the minute I do that, I have freedom around it
Yes.
because
Yes.
my say has power.
Hmm.
And anything else I give my say to or my power away to, even if it's my own identity of not cooking, the minute I do that, I lose the power of my say. So my little tagline is see the drag, return to your say. And I could do that with cooking,
Yes. Yep. Mhm.
Mary. In the show notes, we're going to have information about your book.
Yes.
I'm going to make a recipe. I'm going to make something because I'm returning to my say. And I'm going to take a picture and show it to you.
Okay. That
Thank
sounds
you.
good.
Thank you so much for being here. I love you to pieces. And I want a copy of that book. I might give a copy of that book to my husband.
Okay.
Culinary
Yes,
Bliss.
that's right. That's what it's about, isn't it?
Thank you,
Having
Mary.
some bliss.
Thanks for being with me. And you'll
Thank you,
see
Sandy.
this podcast on Pink Lady Posse Podcast in one of the coming weeks. Mwah. Thanks for tuning in to Pink Lady Posse Podcast, where women go from what now to what's next. Come join us at pinkladyposse.com, where we share community, resources, and tools to support your next beautiful chapter. With love, light, and a little lipstick. See you next time.